EarthNet Web 4.0, the sovereign web rebuilding the internet for a world that trusts. So today I really want to talk about, for the last 30 years, we've all participated in one of the greatest technological revolutions in human history, the internet. It has ultimately connected us, empowered us, and changed our world in ways we could have never really imagined outside of that. I know I remember it when growing up in the 80s and 90s. But let's be honest, the internet we have today feels fragile, which really got to me thinking. Is we built this incredible global civilization on a foundation that was really never designed to handle it. It's like building a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. And we really live with the daily reality of data breaches, identity theft, and a global fraud industry that really cost, astonishingly, our economy over $8 trillion every single year, which, and you can check this, according to the Cybersecurity Ventures Global Cybercrime, they're estimating the cost to project right around 10.5 trillion annually by the end of this year of 2025. So we've spent decades patching the system, adding firewalls, creating complex passwords, really buying security software. We've still just patched the cracks in a flawed foundation. So for the past several years, my team, ultimately myself, majorly, I have really been asking that fundamental question. What if we could build it again? Like, not from scratch, but with the wisdom we have now, what if we could build an internet that was secure by design? And that really got me excited, because I started to put my head together to think, what is that? So I'm really broadcasting now, but in the near term, I will announce the publication of my latest research paper on that very idea. It's called EarthNet. And EarthNet isn't a new physical internet. It's basically a new logical internet. So think of it as a new operating system that runs securely on top of the physical wires and towers we already have. Really, it's just built on a few core revolutionary ideas. First, being Toolbox of Things. In other words, TOT. So imagine that your phone, your car, the company you work for, every single entity has its own secure personal digital container. So this is your toolbox. It's where your data lives, and you and only you hold the keys. So the second, and it's important to explain this, is the governance of things, which is the abbreviation of GOT. And the GOT is basically the digital constitution for this new internet. It's a set of rules and enforceable contracts that are built in the network itself. It ensures that every interaction is fair, transparent, and accountable. And, it's kind of funny how it all came together, but I'll leave that for another story. So, finally, the regulated interface internet, which is the abbreviation of RII. This is the new public square. But unlike the Wild West of the World Wide Web, you can't just anonymously show up. To enter the RII, you have to sign in with a validated toolbox. And this is a very big difference between an open street market and a secure airport terminal. Everyone is basically verified, and everyone is accountable. So, and this kind of pairs well with my airport theory, which is another paper that ties into all this stuff. And the civilization simulator brings all this to life. But so now this all might seem like kind of impossible ambition, but the how is what makes this so exciting. So it's the core of our research. How do you get in this new network? Well, ultimately through something we call the Toolbox Authenticator Gateway, or TAG. This isn't some like new box you have to buy, like a modem, but it's a simple firmware update to the gateway or the router you already have in your home or office. It turns your existing hardware into a biometric passport control for the internet. Okay? A lot of this can be done through the back end update, so you don't actually have to do anything on the front end. So it validates you, your device, and your location before a single piece of data moves. And once you're in, where do you go? And this opens up Pandora's box, right? Which is Toolbox. So this is the Toolbox Area Network, also known as TAN, T-A-N. So think of it as a secure private lane on the information superhighway, okay? So accessibly only to validated toolboxes. And this is so exciting because I can't wait to show y'all what's already been built because it's ready to go. So what does a world running on EarthNet actually look like? So it looks like a world where your personal data is finally truly yours. That's one, and very important. The other is where the fear of identity theft is a relic of the past. And this is a fact. Because it looks like a world where businesses can transact with each other with a zero risk of payment fraud. And yes, you heard it correct. I can personally reduce $10.5 trillion of fraud down to zero. And where a contract is living, breathing digital assets that enforce that in an encapsulated toolbox. So it's a world where we can ultimately build truly smart cities, even though some people don't like the word of that, but it secures global supply chains and trusted digital governments. So all on a foundation that is fundamentally secure. It's basically a world where the $8 trillion fraud problem is simply just poof, vanish. Obviously, it's not as simple as like that because we got to onboard, which is also what we're working on right now, is the onboarding process and how we can streamline it. But the research paper that I'm going to be publishing soon is going to basically lay out a high level of the complete architecture for this vision. And again, it's going to be high level. So it's a technical blueprint kind of detailing the protocols, the data structures, and the implementation strategy. But this paper isn't a declaration. It's really an invitation. So, which leads me to, I'm calling on the network architects, the embedded system engineers, the software developers, the policymakers, the dreamers that just want to build something. The same kind of people really who took a small research project called EarthNet and turned it into a world-changing force that we all call and use today, the internet. And we stand at a similar moment today because we're all just trying to be better, and we have the opportunity to take the next great leap to build a digital world that is really worthy of our aspirations, of really how we set ourselves to digitally evolve from what spawned from original creativity. So therefore, I want to close with this, which is when the civilization simulator becomes alive, and I'm inviting people and engineers and developers abroad to participate in this assembly, be ready, because the challenges are great, but the future is not something to be predicted. It's something to actually be built. So let's build it together. And this is your shot. This is our shot. And not everything is done, but everything is ready to invite people when the time comes. And I think that is something to look forward to, because you can be part of something that is a part of us.